You used to love building together with your friends. You could build anything, from the smallest house to entire worlds. You felt powerful. Building together with your friends was fun. But then you got serious about building, and your tools got serious too. The tools you use today are dull, disconnected, and not built for design. You tried to speed things up by automating the boring and the repetitive. You learned the latest scripting tools. But it's just more stuff to manage, more systems to break. Maybe it would be easier if you didn't have to start every project from a blank page. So you tried absolutely everything to capture and reuse expertise. You made template libraries. You wrote documentation on SharePoint. You hosted lunch and learns to explain it all. But you still spend your days rebuilding models, converting Excel data into drawings and drawings into Revit models and Revit models into PDFs, endlessly rebuilding as you iterate on a design and move back and forth between applications. Until one day, you realize you're spending more time fighting your tools than designing. We help build tools like Revit and Dynamo that you use every day. So we know that these tools are capable of representing enormously complex buildings. But they don't understand how elements interact as systems. In 20 years of BIM, we haven't come any closer to encoding how buildings are designed. It's funny because we know a lot of the rules. We started Hypar with the belief that to truly change the way that buildings are designed, to truly accelerate designers, we'd need to encode those rules and make sure that they're available to everyone at the moment they're needed. And our industry has invented a lot of ways to write down the rules. But because they're bolt-ons to existing applications, there's always been this tension between what the computer generates and what you model. Who's in control? Because design is messy. The perfect automated solution almost never works. It needs to be tweaked. There's never been a comfortable way for the computer to work with you and your team, to see what you're doing and help accelerate you, but to get out of your way when you just want to design. With Hypar, for the first time ever, we've created a design tool that actually works with you. It understands what you're building, what you need, and offers help at just the right moment. You've already seen the first hints of this with suggestions. Hypar can draw on your firm's libraries of content and layouts or generative logic running on the platform to suggest relevant design completions. Starting today, it goes a lot further than that. Hypar understands your building's context, like its program requirements in site, and can suggest parts of your design. You can preview them and accept them with one click, or just ignore them. The hallmark of a great design collaborator is that they understand your intent and they can riff on your design. Hypar can work like your structural engineer, suggesting grid configurations based on your building layout. If you tweak the grid slightly, Hypar understands your intent and provides an updated suggestion. Building grids in place, Hypar can suggest that you create all of the structural columns. If you edit the profile of a column, Hypar suggests that change for all of the columns. Everything a suggestion creates is editable. You begin to work back and forth, manually editing the design and accepting suggestions to generate huge new areas of the design. And you can add and delete elements as well, because at the end of the day, you're the designer. You're in control. What's really cool is that there's nothing to learn. You interact directly with elements. There's no complex interfaces full of buttons, sliders, and panels. Anyone can do this. This is fundamentally a new kind of building design. Maybe it's BIM 3.0. Our approach for mixing natural design with powerful automation extends far beyond suggestions. Because of this, we can create interactions that are not only fast and accurate, but intuitive and fun. Something as mundane as turning your program requirements from Excel into space, a process which would usually involve hours of grueling manual work, becomes almost instantaneous. Because you just want to dump the blocks out on the floor and start playing. That's the fun part. Pushing, pulling, and stretching space. In those early stages, you're flipping between levels of detail. planning whole departments in one moment, and making sure a single room fits all of its equipment in the next. And simplicity means that Hypar takes care of all of the details. If you want to copy a space, it shouldn't be a complicated operation involving deleting walls and rehosting elements. It should be one simple gesture. And because program adjacencies are so critical to design, that same gesture should allow you to create a continuous pattern of spaces. Hypar can assume that if you grab all those spaces and resize them, that what you mean to do is flex the spaces while keeping them connected. And it's easy to fine-tune grid-like arrangements of elements without first creating arrays or constraints. And everything should come together with precision. We put an incredible amount of care and thought into something as simple as snaps, so you can work quickly and precisely across scales. And all of this is possible because the elements and the environment itself are intelligent. In Hypar, walls know that they belong to spaces. When those spaces snap to one another, those walls join together. Elements that naturally interact with each other have an almost magnetic attraction. Over the years, our users have created library projects in Revit to standardize and deliver best practices. But those libraries are hard to use and harder to maintain. And nobody wants to use a standard when they can just scavenge their old projects. So to jumpstart the future, Hypar makes it easy to turn those standards into flexible layouts in Hypar. Hypar's intelligence works at every level of detail. Layouts need to follow specific clearances set by codes and guidelines. So instead of relying on static, dashed lines and manual checks, Hypar lets you embed those requirements and alerts you to clashes automatically. Then, you can have suggestions put those standards in your hand. Relevant design assistance right when you need it. And you don't have to make all your layouts in Revit. You can use your library of furniture and equipment and just start building or even remixing layouts directly in Hypar. Instead of worrying about building template libraries, just design. Hypar remembers what you built before and suggests it to you. If you tweak the design, Hypar remembers that too. And you're always working with a team, so of course Hypar has real-time collaboration. But truly collaborating on building design is much deeper than that. You have teammates that are working in Revit and Rhino, and they need to respond to what's being built in Hypar. So we enable seamless interaction with both. Most importantly, Hypar understands that every building design is the result of teams developing multiple design options, often delegating design options to different teammates. So Hypar's intelligence works across design options too. In our testing, we found that this idea scales to every part of the building. We've tested with drywall and framing and mechanical systems and more. It's amazing. We're really proud that some of the world's largest firms are already using Hypar on healthcare, science and technology, mission-critical, and workplace projects. We've spent hundreds of hours of careful observation learning how these experts want to design. That's why we're so focused on keeping you in the flow with simple, intuitive interactions and giving you incredible power with suggestions when you need them. Our vision has always been to deliver the world's building expertise to everyone instantly. And to achieve that vision, we've created this simple, powerful building design application so that you can stop fighting your tools and get back to what you love. If you'd like to try it out, you can sign up for free now at hypar.io. We're excited to see what you build.